Nothing like the first cup of dumpster juice in the morning.
Aí vem pra jogar, velho. Que porra é essa? Ai, caralho, vai tomar no cu, porra. Que desgraça é essa? Que porra é essa também? Ai, passarinha. Ai, ai, ai. Que porra é essa, filha da puta? Caralho. Mano, João, essa porra é um mutante. Vai tomar no cu. Morre, desgraça. Ué, chinelo, vai tomando.
Good morning, my beauties and bees. We are live from the Hive. It is Saturday morning. Good to see everybody out there. Seeing lots of people popping in. Great. All those familiar faces out there. Let me go through and yes, Peter. By the way, I did get your message, and I was out there looking at that. Was a bit of my delay there, so stop distracting me in the middle of the show. Damn it. Say complaint. I get antsy. Don't you know I have an anxiety disorder? Good morning, everybody. We got let's see who's here first. Deep Arcs was here first. Good morning, hun. Deep Arcs always sending me great stuff to add quality to the show. So yeah, she's one of my top supporters and top contributors. So thank you, Deep Arcs, always sending me cool stuff, and you can send me cool stuff too. I am on most social media platforms under the moniker HiveSci. So you HiveSci, you get me. Yes, that's me, and that's part of what Peter was talking about too. That I need to make sure I need to get that trademarked. We have Jason Jacoby, always welcome. Matt Walsh's Valentine's video on Ace people, yes. That was the most bizarre. Well, maybe not the most bizarre. Sadly, not the most bizarre thing Matt Walsh has done. But I digress. We'll have to give Matt Walsh his day in the limelight soon, so we will get there. Let's see, who else do we have? Ryan. Good morning. Ryan was here bright and early. Ryan was just had a little celebration stream for some witness stuff that was happening. So if you didn't catch that last night, go check that out. Pretty good stuff. Greg Hartwick, always good to see you, my brilliant friend. Mystique Tina Jones with the bee puns. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. Gonna go for it. Peter's here. Yep. Give me a dire news, I guess we should say. We got the Johnster Monster and BigZebra.com. Hello, fellas. It's always good to have my friends here. Meet Matthew was joining them as well in the live chat. We got Never Again. Good people showing up all around. Good people, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Lori Hayes, thank you for popping in. Let's get started. We are live from the Hive, and I was feeling kind of squatchy today. So, what we got is some Squatch stuff for Cryptic Corner, but you'd have to wait for that because first I have a little bit of a preamble of stuff that's coming up and stuff that's going on. Last Sunday I did have to cancel my What's the Buzz episode with Megan Lewis, and we scheduled for the 12th. Sick kids, it happens. I'm a parent myself, definitely understand, and yeah, so look forward to that on the 12th. That's coming up. We are going to be, I think she might be tangentially familiar with mud fossils, but I don't think she's familiar with Tartaria, it'll overlap with her field of study because it takes all the innovation that was generated in the Middle East and in ancient Near East, I guess I should say. That's how they like to describe Assyria. But taking all that information and then transposing that to this lost kingdom of our empire, I guess. But we'll talk about that. So you want to hear about that? You come on the 12th, and I'm going to be hassling Megan Lewis of Digital Hammurabi with that. It'll be fun. So don't miss out on that. What else do we got on the arrangements today? I'm supposed to be doing something with Alpha Centauri, and it's going to be pre-recorded, but it's something Walshy. So if you think Walsh is cringy, you want to hear my take on it. I think Alpha said something about Dylan Mulvaney, which I don't really know much about that person other than that they're a trans person, and they've honestly they made some videos that annoyed me. Like when I don't want to disparage the woman, but saying, oh, I don't know what to do with the tampons, that video. But I think that maybe she was character acting in that, but people took it seriously. Anyway, it really we'll see. We'll see what we can come up with. I haven't seen any other things that she said like that made me think, oh, this person's because when I first saw it, I'm like, is this a compliment to you, Dylan? Is this a cis woman being a trans woman? I don't know what's going on here, but yeah. Anyway, so we got that coming up in the future. What else? What else do I have? I know I had a schedule this month, but kind of dropped the ball on it, and the bestiary channel's kind of been put on the back burner. I just got too much going on in my life right now to give that second channel the love I want to give it, and I still want to focus on this channel more and just growing what I have here and honing it in and making it better for you guys. So definitely let me know what you want to see. I'm open to critiques for my format and everything. As you guys know, Live from the Hive is a weekly show that premieres on Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. I do it totally by myself. I write, research, produce, star in, and edit Live from the Hive for my lovely audience, all by myself every week. It is a passion of mine, so please, if you want to help out, there's a Patreon below. Spread the word about the channel. Get us over that 1K so I can get this channel monetized. Get some green people out there in the live chat too. Get us a channel membership so that we can have all those wonderful perks. Now, on Live from the Hive, we talk about, we do Cryptic Corner for our start. It started off as a segment and just focusing strictly on cryptozoology and misidentified animals. It quickly erupted into a show where I just take anything that anybody is submitting as something mysterious or unknown, or even a story about it, and try to identify whatever the phenomena was. So it's a debunking platform there of whatever's on the docket, really. Anything that somebody says, oh, this is supernatural, this is alien, this is unknown. We're going to find out if it's known or not. We're still going to give it our best effort. So that's Cryptic Corner. And then we do CreationWatch, where it's a little bit different than Cryptic Corner because we cover the notion that the scientific model of the origins of the Earth is wrong. That's the basis for it. We start from there. What we know about the world today is wrong, and then we kind of expand there, whether it's that it's younger, that it's shaped different, that it's electric. There's all sorts of models out there for the Earth, or that it's an alien petting zoo. I don't care. Bring it at me, and I will crack it open in CreationWatch because I love those kind of stories. And then we wrap this show up with a little bit of Hive Science, whether it's some eco news or strange science. We have strange science on the docket today, and I think you'll all like it. If you're thinking about leaving before we get to the strange science, which generally we get to about at about 11:30, 11:45. If you think about leaving before that, I'm going to give you one hint at what the topic is, so to make you stick around. The topic for Hive Science for strange science in our Hive side today is going to be weaponized genitalia. Would you like to know more? Stick around. All right, so who is ready? I'm ready. Who else is ready to get into Cryptic Corner? I'll see you guys over there. Welcome to Cryptic Corner. I am your host, Bree, Bumble Bree to some. Good evening, everybody watching this, and thank you for tuning in. Cryptic Corner is a place where we like to explore a little bit of the unknown, where we look into the darker recesses of the world and try to sort out what people are seeing, claiming they're seeing, or fabricating in some cases when it comes to supernatural, alien, or unknown phenomena. So thank you everybody for joining me here this evening. We are going to be visiting an old friend tonight, so I appreciate you all for coming in. And to my Live from the Hive audience, thank you so much for sticking with me and keeping that live chatter going, because always helps to motivate the show. And I all hail Queen Bree. Love you, Ring. Yes, here we go. So we are this didn't open my channel. The first thing I talked about on this channel was a on CryptoCorner was a hominid though, but it wasn't a Bigfoot. It was something different. It was almost like they were claiming it was like a rake or an alien or something. But Bigfoot's always been near and dear to my heart. Bigfoot was one of the last one of these things that I was kind of able to let go of believing in. I mean, I'm talking up until just the last couple of years, my Bigfoot belief has kind of washed away. I still want to believe in Bigfoot. I would still jump for joy if it was discovered that Bigfoot was real. However, just through my skeptical mind, I have decided that I am no longer convinced by the preponderance of evidence that was placed before me. Too much of it is anecdotal. That is a problem. There are environmental and ecological factors that I know you all know that I was in a program for ecology there for a little bit. I'd love to get back into it, but my life's not in a place where I can get back to school right now. But I was in an undergraduate program to study ecology. But so learning about just the how deeply that all that stuff's interlaced is really dampered my belief in large hominids of unknown pedigree. I don't doubt that there are certain things that are out there that are unknown, especially species. I'm thrilled to explore the proposition of things like the thylacine still being out there. Oh my gosh, I would love for the thylacine to still be around. I want to pet one. I want to boop the snoot, and I'll never get to because they're adorable. Anyhow, but Bigfoot has kind of slowly slipped further down the list. We go back to the 90s when I was a kid. I knew it was only a matter of time before one of these animals turned up. I knew that it was only a matter of time before I was vindicated in thinking, Bigfoot's out there. There's too much evidence for it. It's too obvious that we have a Sasquatch among us. No. Didn't happen. Years went by. No Squatch. No Squatch turned up at all. And that made me sad, but the more time passed, the more jaded I became. The more I looked at these images, the more disappointed I've become in the veracity. That doesn't stop him from coming in, though. Now, about 10 years ago, now I never watched Searching for Sasquatch, In Search of Sasquatch. I never watched that show. It didn't appeal to me. I'm not a fan of reality TV show. It seemed fake. I don't like the ghost hunter shows. I just don't like them. Not the professional ones. I like YouTube ghost hunter channels. I like YouTube Sasquatch channels. I don't like the History Channel ones though. I don't like I don't like ghost hunters or any of that, but I do like the people their own paranormal investigation team that puts on their own channel. So I never watched the In Search of Sasquatch, or what was it called? Finding Bigfoot or Finding Sasquatch. The one with Bobo and all that. I never watched that. So I've seen the clips of the stuff that they find compelling, but I've never actually watched the show myself. So I don't have too much of an opinion on it, other than we got memes out of it, right? So I never knew who Todd Standing was. Until about 10 years ago when he came out with his, well, I guess I shouldn't say I didn't know who he was. His name didn't flip on light switches or anything, because I was a part of all these different cryptic communities, unexplainedmysteries.com forum, things like that I was part of. So, I'd seen some of his content before maybe, and I just never give him much thought, but I guess he was kind of a big deal because he's about 2010. He started putting out all these videos of alleged Sasquatches that he had seen in the forest. And I wasn't convinced by any of them. They didn't look particularly compelling. They didn't look how Sasquatch is generally described. So I didn't give them much thought. But just I do follow him on my main channel of all things. So I did catch something that he put out just yesterday. Well, it was when I got this here. I'll show you. Oops, not that. That's for later. Hold on. All right. So this is Todd Standing, and he's going to talk to us about some of his Bigfoot encounters now.
Tuning into my video today. I'm really excited to bring some clarity to this incredible piece of footage. Probably the
100% Sasquatch footage. Okay, and this is property of Todd Standing, Sylvanic Bigfoot. Rebroadcast is prohibited. Todd's hopefully I don't get struck down for this. I keep getting struck down for doing fair use reviews. But this is, if the YouTubes are listening, this is a fair use review of a hoax that someone is perpetrating. So please back off, okay? Okay, thank you. Mwah. Okay, so this is his Jane Bigfoot, the alleged female Bigfoot that he's encountered and has a sort of relationship with, if you will. Yeah. Not an intimate relationship in any way. At least not that I know of. But this is his Jane Bigfoot, as some people have come to call it. It's the Muppet Bigfoot, or the Muppet Sasquatch.
second most famous female Sasquatch of all time ever filmed. Second, of course, to the incredible, amazing.
Here she is again. You see dark eyes, right? You see them dark eyes behind there, right? Kind of a scruffy looking head of hair. She's got really peculiar lips, is always what I found weird about Jane. I'm not going to call it the Muppet. I'll use the term he calls it. He calls it Jane, which is fine by me.
Amazing Patterson footage. The details behind what transpired and all the evidence that happened that led up to this incredible video, and even
there she is down there. You can kind of see the lips. I'm sorry if... Oh, no, you can't see it at all because the way I got my... Hold on.
after this video is now...
There we go. You can see her lips in this one. Right there. And her nose kind of upturned. Not how you generally hear Sasquatches being described. They don't generally say they have a upturned nose. Yes, it's very Ewok like this one is.
Over 12 years old are these videos and photographs, which are multiple, of this Sasquatch I call Jane, are well over a decade old. And we have new interactions with her. All this.
Does that look organic to you guys? I don't. It looks like FX to me. I knew some people with some FX stuff, setups that were pretty good at it. Back in the early 2000s, one of my friends was really into it. We'd all go to her house on like Halloween and she'd do all our makeup and stuff. Really fun. She never did a lot of the hair stuff, not the facial hair stuff. There was one person she put a villainy mustache on, but it was not full facial fur. But there are FX people who do it, they have like a, it's like a little, like a hair, they put a layer of this sticky stuff. Hold on. They put a layer like sticky stuff on your face, and then they have this like blower thing that blows it so it sticks to your skin, and then they take like a really light comb and are able to push it back. You got to be like really careful with it, but yeah.
It's incredible evidence is precipitated, but so much backstory transpired behind this.
Ooh.
There's so much.
I like her eye. That we get a good look at these eyes here, though. I think this was part of the problem that people had, was the proportions, like the eye proportions to the rest of the face seemed forced. Like that maybe this person's mouth and nose don't actually line up with where the lower half of the face is, which may be a prosthesis. I don't know. With that upturned nose like that.
Garbage and armchair quarterbacks chatting when they don't have a bloody clue about what the hell they're talking about. I'm going to try to bring.
That's a good picture right there of it. That's where you can see the weirdness around the mouth that I'm talking about. Like almost like there's a seam around the mouth. And I can see that this would be like hours of footage put together, and then they clip out the ones that they seem the most most realistic looking, I guess. So maybe there was some pictures with the mouth open that just didn't make it on the cut, and that's why they have this distinction here. But to me, it makes me feel like there's some FX going on here, and maybe some prosthetic fur up through here, and then the bottom part of the bottom part here is just makeup. That's what I see. If I was looking at this, is like trying to sort out what kind of special effects were used to make it. Which, you know, you like watch Star Wars and things like that. I would say that this is that there's a headpiece, either a face piece that's completely fabricated, or set latex on the person's face with attached hair, and then there's the open part of the bottom of the face, which is makeup, and and maybe a little bit of buildup of different structural or textured, but it looks very different from the rest of it. That's just my opinion. If you disagree with me about this, this is my final assessment of Jane. I'm just giving my opinion after looking at Jane for 10 years. I've been sent this clip for years from people asking me what I think of it. And I'm like, oh, this has been, usually I dismiss it. I'm like, oh, this has been debunked. It's not it doesn't look like what people report when they see a Sasquatch. It doesn't act like what people report when they see when they report a Sasquatch. It is a bizarre looking thing. This is just my final say on that. So, you can not send this to me anymore now, or I'll just link you to this video where I do this. And finally, I'm glad you were able to catch part of this, Peter. Where was I? I also want to look and see what you guys think here real quick. How do we know that's not a cat-man hybrid? True. It's got some weird eyes, though, to be a cat-man. Jane has great smoky eyes going on. Yeah, I like Jane's eyes. Jane's cool looking. I do like what I think is FX here. I do like it. I think they did a good job. I don't think it looks like a Bigfoot, but I think that in a movie that this could be a forest people, a species that lives in the wild. Sure.
Some clarity to the enormous amount of work and time and effort and the struggle and literally life and death struggle that
I like how Todd Stanning's always like, look how badass I am. And throughout all his videos, you'll see this. He has, that was just a video of him running. Just a video of him running. Like, I should just do that, start doing that for my show. Just like run. Like at the start of my show, have myself like jogging up the driveway or whatever towards the hive. Maybe hopping on rocks across the creek and stuff with a ghillie suit on.
went into acquiring this incredible footage that I'm so
Yeah, I should do this. I should do my own version of this of these cutaway clips and just put that as the beginning of my anytime I cover Sasquatch that I'm out there and
proud of. So I'll start out with the incredible.
He's just showing off his gator there. Gators are cool though. They can go in the water and on land, so they are really good for getting way out into the bush like this and exploring previously unknown areas.
Story of Jane with the very first video after I came back, literally came back, suffering from exposure, nearly died several times on the expedition.
There he is, again in his ghillie suit, facing off against an unseen foe from the forest. You know, he walks in front of the trail cam, but the monster never does.
All the immense danger and exposure and starvation and freezing and hype.
Nothing says Bigfoot like someone up a hill throwing rocks at you. That's a staple of these Bigfoot. The suspicious ones, anyway. And I'm not saying that rock throwing and all that's not something that's actually a phenomena that's not, or that's happening. But you got a big film crew out there. I shouldn't say film crew because I think it's just allegedly it was just Todd by himself. But I digress. He went by himself into the far reaches of the Canadian wilderness. By himself. Yeah.
Hypothermia and everything that I'd gone through to acquire this incredible piece of footage, again, that I'm so proud of. A little bit of backstory to help you understand why it's very frustrating when people say these preposterous things when they just have absolutely no idea. So here's the very first video that I released after I came back and recovered from all.
And, let me give a little bit of history to him. Before he went up to Canada, he used to do what they call something in the Sylvanic region of Montana. That's where his channel name comes from. He calls it Sylvanic Bigfoot. But so he was originally in Montana, and that's where he did his thing where he was on the what's the Bigfoot show? Finding Bigfoot or Finding Sasquatch or whatever. Yeah, that one. When he was on there, he presented a video of alleged Bigfoot running up the hill. But then he said he left that place. He didn't. He said the funny thing is he says he left there because the Bigfoot started killing people. I'd love to learn more about that, wouldn't you? But no, that's all he says.
The stuff that I'd gone through, I put this video up online, so I'll let you have a look at that, and then we'll go from there.
On Tuesday, October 14th, Todd Standing embarked on a 5-day expedition into a region of the Rocky Mountains bordering Kootenay and Banff National Parks. On this expedition, he captured multiple full-frontal facial views of Bigfoot for the first time. As he returned from his expedition through some of the most dangerous backcountry in the world, he experienced several highly unusual circumstances that delayed him by several days.
So this is where he's claiming that he was out there by himself, all alone, facing the wilderness of the Canadian Rockies.
Out of concern over his whereabouts, the RCMP and Sylvanic team agreed to launch search and rescue. Todd returned safely on his own 3 days overdue. Although the expedition entailed significant hardships that were...
So, the Mounties and the Sylvanic Park rescue system. They all went out and had to go rescue this guy, allegedly.
Reported to the RCMP, including a dangerous grizzly bear confrontation, Todd and his team consider this expedition their most significant ever.
Incredibly significant. It was really...
Why did they to say they and then he? Was he out there by himself or not? That's what I want to know. Todd, were you out there by yourself? Really? When they rescued you, were you alone? Three days overdue.
Really proud of the photographs and videos that came out. At the time, I just finished becoming worldwide headlines with species protection.
Please feel free to share those novels here with us, Big Zebra. We have a fetish audience who is really into Bigfoot that way. So, is that Tobin Templeman? Oh, Tobin, I missed you. Hey, babe. Hi. Check out Tobin's channel. Yes.
Recognition and all that, the work that I was doing with the government to have them acknowledge Sasquatch that I fought really hard for. But this...
He did get shot down too. He actually did present a bill to to the Canadian government to have Sasquatch recognized as a indigenous people and protected, which if they are in fact indigenous people, then yes, they do need it protected. And I used to have that book over his shoulder right there. I used to have that book. I don't know what happened to it. It might still be somewhere. No.
Basically, I just put this footage out there raw, and people were very non-accepting of it. So, and you'll get it. I'll explain a lot.
Look at it. Do you see why people are non-accepting of it? Do you see what we're looking at here? What are we looking at here? No one who I've ever talked to who said they've seen a Bigfoot described anything like this. And when I've asked people who have seen a Bigfoot, allegedly, nobody has ever said that what Todd Staining presents here looks anything like the Bigfoot that they saw.
A lot about what was going on, but you heard in that video that there were some significant incidences. I was very kind of quiet, and I didn't want to push people too much because of the extreme things that had happened on me on that expedition. And I didn't want to lose the science by getting all crazy and talking about how these Sasquatch were like, they basically...
Yeah, here's where things get pretty wild. So if you haven't got your popcorn yet, go ahead and snag that.
You know, were abusive to me and chased me down and all the stuff that had transpired. And I really want to figure out the reasons behind all this and all these...
Okay, I keep pausing to look at these different angles of the photo. Sorry, you know how I am, guys. I like to. Is this gonna? Oh, dang it! It did fade away. I was gonna say, is this gonna fade away before it moves down more? Because I want to see more than the head. That's my goal.
These aren't.
I find it peculiar that these are allegedly huge, massive animals, right? Massive animals, but the photos that we're getting here are just the head. Just the head peeking out here, peeking out there, poking its nose up here and there. No body at all. It's really weird.
Like gorillas, and no disrespect to gorillas and chimpanzees, they're highly intelligent hominids, and they came after me in very specific ways.
Chimpanzees will come after you too. Don't give chimpanzees any quarter. If you underestimate chimpanzees, they will rip you apart.
Teach me very specific lessons. So let's get into just a short little sequence here that I'll tap onto about how they, on the very last, or what I thought was supposed to be the last night before I got picked up, after this, I was out there for like 5 days on this expedition. The Sasquatch came and harassed me, and I got this footage. It was on Survivor, man. I'll just play a little short sequence of it, and then we'll continue from there.
Yeah.
After sleeping less than 30 minutes.
All right, so now what we're going to see is some base camp stuff. And this is straight up Blair Witch here, all you kids at home. This is some Blair Witch crap right here.
I was awakened by rocks that were thrown at me and growling sounds from multiple directions. After 2 nights of this, I'd had enough, so you'll see me here crack open one of my big flares.
Damn it. He's gonna scare away the Sasquatch with his flares.
These growling sounds you hear are from 6 to 10 yards away, again in multiple directions. Now you can hear rocks thrown at me and various animals closing in on me from multiple positions.
They do sound angry if those are real growls. I would, I guess this is maybe, why I don't, because I don't know, what would you do in this situation? Would you scream and wave your flare around? I would, and don't tell me this guy went into the bush without a, into the Canadian wilderness without a gun. He's already mentioned that there are grizzly bears here. Grizzly bears aren't alone, though. There are wolves. There are mountain lions. There are black bears. There are wolverines. You don't want, there's things that you don't want to tangle with out here or have negative interaction. If a wolverine comes up and wants to investigate your camp, you better just stand back and let that wolverine investigate your camp.
Bad night, to say the least, but tremendous.
I'm not saying that was Wolverine. I'll have to examine those growls a little bit closer to make that kind of assessment. The growls actually sounded human to me, or like professionally made growls, like superimposed over the video. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, I should have. Since this just came out last night, I hadn't had time to put together like a waveform or anything. I should get the audio for this and break that down and see what it looks like. You know what I mean? So let me know if that's something that we could dive into as a follow-up of this at some point. That's fine. Maybe we'll just put together a lot of different sounds and look at the waveforms of a few different Bigfoot sounds and see what we're dealing with. We already did the Sierra sounds like that. You all remember that. We had all the waveforms and stuff. Anyway.
Lessons that I learned from that, but we're not going to get into that or beyond that. Let's get into what happened before that. So that was the end of the Video 4 expedition. So I have this documentary that I did probably right after when I got back from doing this expedition. So I'll play this first sequence of that, and then we're going to do an interview that Kyle did with me on.
When you go on a routine expedition, you do expect sleeve stacks. So I'm glad that everybody out there is aware of that expectation. There are no sleeve stacks in this video, though, which is another reason why I think that it's probably a hoax. If they really went on a routine expedition.
Discovering Bigfoot podcasts, where I really get some exceptional clarity and get down to the grassroots of all the things that were going on and what had happened in the build-up. It's so important that led to this tremendous success, and we'll get into that footage and so much more. So let's keep moving forward.
Yeah, and you all might notice that I'm stopping more than I usually do. I hope you're here for it, because I'm doing everything I can to stop getting freaking pulled when I'm doing my reviews, because AIG had me pulled. Some straight up BS. So, and History Channel had me pulled for covering their ancient alien nonsense. So, pulled right off the air in the previous weeks. So, I'm trying to stop and give more commentary, not let it run for more than a minute or so at a time. So thank you so much for sticking into me. We're going to get through a little bit slower, but it's better to be able to keep the show going than to just have it pulled because we're going too fast. Thank you so much for hanging in here with me, guys. I love my Hive. Hopefully this format works all right.
Hello, my name is Todd Stanley, and you are watching what my team and I are calling Expedition 4. As I announced last year on the website, this new Sylvanic area is where we are attempting to conduct a study of the species commonly referred to as Bigfoot. My team and I have been on over 30 expeditions into this region, and 2 by me have yielded significant close proximity.
And I think this is just his intro, his regular intro to his show. So we're probably all right with this, but
Contact with these animals. Although the first did not produce any photo or video evidence, it very nearly cost me my life. In fact, I'd have to say it was extremely fortunate, to say the least, that I even survived at all. We'll release...
At least he puts his blooper reel in there too. All his videos of what a badass he is walking across this river in his ghillie suit.
the details of that expedition later this year. For this October 2010 expedition, although there certainly were significant dangers, including the grizzly bear confrontation, I suffered only minor injuries. So before I get into detail of the expedition itself, I'd like to thank Radium Police as well as Kimberly and Invermere Search and Rescue. This region of the Rocky Mountains is certainly some of the most dangerous backcountry.
I bet they hate this dude. I shouldn't say that. I'm sure. I imagine. I can definitely imagine that that these rescue people are probably not thrilled with Todd standing or give much credence to his thanks and whatnot, because he was out there in the Bigfoot, or out there looking for Bigfoot by himself, which is strongly advised against. You should never hike alone. But you can. There are some trails that are safe to hike alone, for sure. But for the most part, yeah, don't hike alone.
In the continent, very few people ever use these trails, and a high percentage that do disappear or are killed. This area between Kootenay and Banff National Parks is where wildlife officers relocate bears and mountain lions that have become dangerous to people. And because of...
Yeah, so let's go out there by ourselves, right? This is where they relocate aggressive mountain lions. So let's go there by ourselves with no support or backup and wander off into the forest looking for,
locations and natures of my expeditions, my team and I have always had an understanding to never call search and rescue. I rarely stay on the trail, and more often than not, I'm in areas that are inaccessible.
Did you hear that? My team has an understanding to never call search and rescue. And I go out by myself, off trail, never call. The search and rescue people do not like you, Todd. Don't thank them. You're their enemy. You're the kind of person that that makes them have to use unnecessary resources. So, because you're not following the rules of the parks. You don't go out and off trail by yourself without support. What are you doing? What are you even doing?
Accessible to most people. This time, however, the very unusual circumstances surrounding my disappearance led my team to assume the worst. So police were contacted and a search and rescue mission was implemented.
People are always interested, and I'm okay with that, and getting right to the meat of the story, talking about the footage and what happened in those moments. But what...
Is that Jason Jacoby? Is that a Young Frankenstein reference? That's really, I think that's really, that is what he did. He did a Young Frankenstein. He says, I'm going out there, no matter what happens, don't call for help. And then he gets in there. It's like, I made a mistake. Please please come and get me. Oh my gosh. That is such an apt comparison, Jason. Exactly. This is Young Frankenstein we're watching right here.
People don't know is the backstory and the work that went into it. I'd done at the point that I'd gotten to with this success, I'd done over 8 expeditions in this area. Each expedition was between 4 and 7 days long. Most of the time I failed. Most of the time I had very little learning, very little interactions with the Sasquatch. People just have no idea at the lengths that I'd gone through. So here's a 2022 interview where Kyle from the Discovering Bigfoot podcast, and you can watch this full interview in entirety on my YouTube channel, really got down to ask some really good questions and did his research and push me to talk about things and give clarity to.
So he's done this several times. Excuse me. So he's done this several times and to no success. And then he goes out here And
the layers. Like, I could literally write up until I literally sat down with a novelist, and all my experience and everything that transpired from when I started this discovery
this definitely does sound like it was written by a novelist. I don't disagree that you told them kind of what you wanted to explain about your experience, then they put it into poetic language and gave it back to you.
Back with video 1 to video 2 to video 3 to even just to video 4, this would have been a 300-page novel with the stuff that had gone on, the time that I'd put into this, the money and work that had gone into this. It was so significant. So you'll get a little tiny piece of that in this interview that's upcoming. So stay tuned, pay attention. This will clear up a lot of things, put some new footage in here.
You talking about his audio or mine, Sandy? Morning, Godseed. Brian Stevens, Native Atheist. Lots of new people popping in here just in the last 10 minutes or so. I didn't see Big Zebras here and Big Bad Mama. Boston Celtics, I guess, is the sports ball team. Is it football or I think it's basketball? Celtics. But yeah, welcome to the show. Meta Bun. Good to see everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We're looking at Todd Standing. Talking Squatch.
So let's let Kyle take over.
I want to talk about video 4, which is Jane. A lot of people have.
There's Jane. There's our girl. How did you decide this was a female? I wonder. What about it is female? Because you only ever see her head.
Opinions about that footage, so I wanna kind of bring to light, like, if you remember what year it was.
That she looks like a Muppet and her body's always out of frame. Yeah, that's concerning. Why is that, Todd?
What kind of the plan was, maybe what happened that year leading up to this expedition to go and get this footage.
Yeah, it was 2009, and boy, those were hard years. What was happening? So, in
2009 was a hard year for me too. The economy crashed in 2008, and I was out of work for almost a year and a half. It was terrible. At the time, I was working as a welder. So, yeah, it was a rough period. I am a certified welder. I didn't know if you guys knew that or not. I can weld the shit out of some stuff. I do MIG and stick welding.
I'd lost my research area in Montana, which is the Sylvanic region.
I didn't do it because it killed my father-in-law. He died of lung cancer after welding all his life. I said, nope, no more for me. I did like it, though. I like the artistic side to it. We'd make, like, fleuries and stuff with, what is it called? Dirt. Defleur or whatever. The ironwork. Anyway, that's off topic.
There were actual deaths. Like, in fact, I believe Sasquatch killed people in the Montana area. I was doing research, so there were rumors around that since I was involved, and I had nothing to do with any of that stuff, nothing whatsoever. I didn't know the people that got involved. I didn't know any of the people that were killed.
TIG welding was a little bit out of my area. I don't know. I mostly the stuff that I was welding was wrought iron or steel. So, you can TIG weld wrought iron, I guess. Doing a lot of like wrought iron fencing and stuff, the fancy artistic stuff, and you can also do some metal working as like heating and bending the steel and things like that.
Killed. I just gave up on that stuff, so I needed a new spot. We picked this radium spot, and my colleague, who was also working with me, who is from Great Falls, Montana, he's a biologist there, Michael. He helped me pick this spot that we were at, and we started to get really good success in 2008. There were clearly Sasquatch there. There were an amazing group of Sasquatch, and no one was ever
an amazing group of Sasquatch. Clearly to him.
Mess with us. We also wanted a research area that was ours.
I mean, Well, that's great art. Well, that's all right. Sometimes we just have to solder on. I can solder too. Something that I've that's not something I learned from welding though. I'm also worked as a guitar tech for a minute, so yep, soldering was one of the things I did in that area. People would no, I wasn't at a shop or anything. People would just bring me their guitars at home, and I would repair them. I'm also a bit of a luthier. I've made a lot of custom guitars and stuff like that. I could show you. I'll show you the mandolin and guitars I made sometime. But moving on.
That I didn't have to answer to anybody for, that nobody else was doing the work, and there was not. This was the ultimate, amazing, A+ spectacular spot. Nobody was going in these regions. In fact, quite the opposite. This area,
More like a Jane of all trades, but master of none. Yeah.
yeah, is famous for where wildlife officers relocate bad animals. So bears and mountain lions that become dangerous for people, they go throw them in this corridor where I was doing my research. So I ended up having some trouble with that. Yeah, because
And then he goes out there alone. That's the thing too, right? And what clade would Sasquatch or Yeti be? God, see, so from what I understand, based on sightings and reports and the description of the animal, I would say that they are at least an anthropoid ape, which would put them in hominoid. But beyond that, I don't want to make any speculation. I do think that based on the master of some, yeah, I am a master of some, I guess. I don't know what they are though, because I sure as hell ain't making any money at it. Yeah, that distracted me. Sorry. I love the jokes coming into the side chat today. You guys are hilarious and on it. Some of them are impressive, but I suspect a lot just talent of the taxidermist. So yeah, I mean that's probably comes into play. But yes, so I think that that we could at least I would say we can definitively put a Sasquatch into definitely is a catarrhine, Pithepoidia. Why did I say that wrong? Pithepoidia. I'm more versed in the bug in pronouncing the bug name. Sorry. And then they would probably be hominids, so they're hominid apes. And beyond that, I would speculate based on the models that Standing is producing. I would even go as far as to say that they're in the genus Homo. I would put them in Homo. I would say that they're a people. If what he's presenting was real, I would say they are a people.
Bears that see humans as a source of food would be dropped in that area, and I'd have to deal with that, which was problematic often.
I can imagine.
When I went missing, that's what the RCMP told me. That the reason you're having so much trouble with bears and mountain lions is because we put bad animals in that area because nobody goes there, you crazy maniac. What are you doing back in that corridor? But anyways, there was things that were different about this troop of Sasquatch that were very exciting because they weren't really backing away.
So, yeah, there's a place in this park where they drop again the bad animals, right? And this guy wants to go back in there by himself and then tell his team not to call for help. So, if you're with me so far,
wouldn't move off. They would just kind of stand their ground. So I was really, really excited to do this.
Sasquatch practice stand your ground laws. That's it's interesting. I guess you got to do what you got to do.
Work. And what happened? Since I didn't have much technology, gosh, I didn't even carry a gun at the time. I had like bear spray and a bear banger.
He went out there without a gun and bear spray, with bear spray.
A knife. It was pathetic how poorly equipped I was. We had it broken down.
Right, and then you waste the rangers' resources coming to rescue you.
To where their home area was, and I needed some bad weather to come in. The worst.
He gets tummy aches too. I get that. I have a bottle of that on my desk too. Woo! Antacid buddies!
Horrible storm you ever saw in your whole life where you can't see your hand in front of your face because that's cover. And because I knew I could follow a creek in, and then I could follow a special tree line and a cave. Like I could literally find my way around blind with a blindfold on with no ability to see, which is what I did. And so it was around and the best time to get a storm too that's going to melt off and dissipate.
I'm gonna speed him up just a little bit.
In Canada, we get
Hope
these
that's okay.
snowstorms that come in early, and the snow hits and doesn't really accumulate, or if it does accumulate, it melts. And if you notice in the Jane footage, there's snow everywhere. It's melting, literally melting. So I went into that snowstorm for cover. The next day it was beautiful, and well, after the storm was over, it wasn't the next day. It was like 3 days after a snowstorm.
Yeah, we see the snow melting. There's Jane's face over there. Again, on the side of the. Sorry, it's on the side that you guys can't see at the moment. It's just the way they zoom in on it.
It was horrible.
There we go. That's better. You can see her there. So there's her lips, her fur, as you can see. No shoulders here, where you'd expect to see shoulders on the Sasquatch that has no neck. Sasquatches are often described as not having a neck, but you can see the background foliage here. So this is clearly a neck. That makes me think that this is either a mask or even maybe something on an instrument or a literal puppet someone's holding up on their hand doing like that with. That's why they call it the Muppet.
I got into my position, and then my plan after that just fell into place where what's happening is the cave I was talking about actually had an audio recorder of me talking, so I left a trackway of me walking into this cave, and then I used a line to sneak my way out where you couldn't see my tracks. And so when the Sasquatch came down the mountain, they could hear me talking in the cave. I wasn't there, and they saw my tracks go in and not come out. So I believe the males went down the hill waiting for me or messing with me in that cave while I was trying to approach the rest of the troop, the females and the young. What I didn't realize is the females created...
What a creep. I'm just going to say it. It's like, I'm going to lure the men folk away so I can approach the females and the young. No, I'm just joking. It's probably a good idea for anything that has large territorial males.
Another upper perimeter, and that's what I believe Jane was. She was the upper perimeter I was trying to break past to get back into where the main home is. Like, I'm talking where they sleep. Like, the spot where there's bones and their stuff is there, whatever that might be. So the main sleeping...
Sasquatch have stuff? I mean, he said there were bones. Is the bones the limit of their stuff? Yeah, he's like Batman. He had a zip line ready. He was just tricked those Sasquatch, lured him down into his trap with his audio recording and trackway, and then zip lined out of there like Batman up to the females where they keep their bones.
Holy Grail area is what I was trying to get to, of course, and I didn't get there because Jane stopped me. I was using what I called a ghillie cloak. It was basically a lead-lined ghillie kind of, not a suit, but like a ghillie. It's like a big piece of...
He zip-lined with a lead-lined cloak, too, guys. With this one he's showing you right now, he zip-lined with this.
Of earth is what it looked like, and I would drag that up the hill and stay under it. Completely lead-lined, so you couldn't feel my signature, no heat signature, no telepathic signature. It's all blocked off. So I got to the point where I was at.
So he looked like a Yeti, a zip-lining Yeti.
Footage of Jane, which is multiple shots. And now this is something that's really important too, though, is I had two cameras with me. The reason I had two cameras is at the time the digital camera that shot in DV tape was horrible at night. I had so much night stuff coming around me. So a friend of mine lent me his camera, said this is one of the best night vision cameras around. And I can't remember, it was like a Samsung or something. But anyways, its low light capabilities were really crappy. But I still had it, and I was going to test it just in case something happened. So what happened is when I'm filming Jane in video, and the video is where I'm an expert. I was using my neutral density filters. The footage is amazing. It looks proper and clear. It was awesome. The trees had the snow melting, and it was splattering my camera.
Well, he's going to talk about how he took these photos and pictures here, or the photos and videos here. So let's pay attention.
I would switch over to the other camera, and it was actually, I think it was just a photographic camera. I didn't shoot any video with it. So I just pointed at her and took pictures until until it got splattered on. Then I would clean both.
Yeah, and kept switching cameras because they're getting wet. I gotcha.
Lenses and put them both back up. Try to refine Jane again and get more footage. The problem is that the photographs that I took with that camera's set for low light, right? I didn't change the settings. You don't sit there and go, there's a Sasquatch there. I better check the settings on my phone. You pull the goddamn camera out and go snap, 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 snap. You take everything you can get, right? So those photographs look really bad. And she looks orangey. The color in the green of the trees looks bad because it's literally set for low light and it's shooting not only in direct sunlight, but there's snow on the ground. So the sun is bleaching off the snow, create like it burn your eyes. It's so bright. So the photographs are poor, but at the time.
Well, I think this sounds well, and maybe he did present these. What I think happened is he presented these pictures unedited when the mask was actually this, or the fur was actually this orange color, and they muted it out in post production.
I didn't really give a shit.
That's my opinion.
I made those public. I didn't care because I know that's Sasquatch, and I knew this at the time too. I also believed the discovery was only years away. I knew I was going to make this discovery happen right away because I was having so much incredible success. Of course, I was wrong because that was literally filmed in 2009. Well over, almost 15 years ago now. That footage was filmed, and the discovery is not moving nearly as quickly as I'd hoped. But that footage.
I don't think that this is compelling footage, though. Do you?
Because I filmed it a couple times. Two of the most important things that happened. So, as I was filming Jane for the last time, I was trying to look for Jane. She was gone. So I'm looking around to film for her. What actually happened was a Sasquatch.
Why does Jane have a neck? And if she doesn't have a neck, where's the rest of her body?
As I was in that ghillie
Answer me, Todd.
cloak, and he reached under the cloak. I could feel his hand, and he grabbed my ankle. He pulled me out. And what was so cool was
here he's gonna claim he was like grabbed by one.
5 meters. And I'm freaking out, right? So he lets me go, and I spin around as fast as I can. I look, and all I saw was like a tree shaking. Where the Sasquatch had walked off. I thought, oh my God, he must have just ran out of there just before he got a hold of me and blah, blah, blah. But then a few years later, I saw a gorilla do that to a guy on a gorilla watching expedition. A gorilla literally grabbed the guy by his ankle. And this is exactly what happened to me. Because the Sasquatch didn't run with me. The gorilla just grabbed the guy by his ankle and pulled him at the speed the gorilla was walking. And as soon as he let that guy go, the gorilla just kept walking. And as fast as the guy could turn around, all he saw was a shaking tree. And all the gorilla had to do was just maintain that walking speed. So in my head, it was, man, he just bolted out of there. It's not true. He just simply maintained his speed, because also the tree that was shaking, it wasn't going, it was just shaking like somebody walked past it. So you're just in such a panic, and everything's happening so fast that you whip around and you perceive things differently. But it was a really good lesson for me. So I've been pulled out of my ghillie suit. I've got my footage. I'm stoked through the roof, but I'm not done. I'd like to go up there, and first thing I needed to get was I want to see how big Jane is.
We have a little taste of some of the events that transpired to build up.
Did he find out how big Jane was?
Get that footage, which for me is so valuable because so much time and effort and struggle went into that, and it was a tremendous success that went on for years. So we just grew, and the discovery is happening. I'm so excited about it. I know there's I'm going to leave you wanting so much more, but literally I could make a movie.
This is him today, by the way. This isn't him from 2009.
And show you all the things that happened step by step. It would turn into a 90-minute feature film documentary that would blow your mind with the layers of.
Well, bring it. Why are you not giving us the feature film documentary with the best footage and all the footage and everything?
Oh my God, you went through. Oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, all these things. It's just so.
Do it.
It's been a hell of a journey down this discovery process, and be very excited.
Do it, Todd.
What's happening? Remember that.
Just do it. Why are you talking about it and not doing it? Why are you not doing it right now? You know exactly where they are. You have the community support for there's the Sasquatch community really does or did, at least until you kept dropping the ball and not turning up with anything new. Do it. Show us. Bring us the Bigfoot. Bring it to us. Not the. There's another one he's witnessed. We'll talk about in a second.
Achieving much better results to this day, with people seeing Sasquatch, eyewitnessing Sasquatch, and adding to this research layers of immense success with all the new people involved in this cooperation. It's a very exciting time for us. 2023 is going to be such a banner year. So many amazing things have happened. My mind has been absolutely blown with the success that's sincerely right here in front of us. So stay tuned for more. It's a very exciting time.
I'm here. I'm here for it, right? I'm here for. Hold on just a second. I'm going to do this again, and I keep forgetting to blind that every time. I'm supposed to turn that, I hit that switch after my intro goes, and I never do. And then when I come back to my solo screen, it always pops up the intro again. So I apologize. But so this is Jane again, one of the many alleged Sasquatches that Todd has photographed and taken videos of. The other famous one is the one they call Blinky. Now, I couldn't find any video just with Blinky by himself, but there's a kind of a famous still of him that's around the, and again, this because I just picked this. I had some UFO stuff I was going to go over today, but this popped into my feed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to talk about Todd Standing. I can't believe I haven't. I've been craving a Squatch topic, but I did have aliens that got pushed over till next week. And that's good because it gives me time to do more research on what we're talking about, or UFOs, I shouldn't say aliens. But let me show you this. Okay, so here's the Blinky Bigfoot. And yeah, some people suggest that it's Todd Standing, and I'm not going to read this little blurb about it, but I am going to give you guys the chance to make up your own mind. So here we go. So you tell me what you see when you look at this. There's Blinky. This is Blinky the Bigfoot. He stands there and blinks. That's all he does. Doesn't move or anything, so you're not missing anything besides blinking eyes. But lo and behold, the face of Todd Standing back at the time that this was made in the early 2010s. Again, let's pay attention to things like features around the eyes, around the mouth, any place where you think his real features would show through. What do you guys think? Is Blinky Bigfoot actually Mr. Todd Standing? Let's see here. There's my side chat. There you guys are. Let's watch it through one more time. Okay, so here's Blinky. Watch around the mouth, the eyes, and the nostrils. That's the main areas you want to focus on, making sure that prosthetics would be a viable option. Obviously, the nose has to be bigger than like the brow ridge and all that good stuff. But it's not AI. This is from, both of these pictures are from before AI became. These are from like 2010. I think that he's legit wearing prosthetics here. I think there's a prosthetic that comes down over the top of the head and just above the eyes. Maybe a separate nose piece that has cheek patches. I don't know. What do you guys think? That was the famous Todd Standing Bigfoot pictures, or videos, clips, whatever you want to call them. We had Jane and Blinky, both not compelling. Jane doesn't look like an organic thing at all, and Blinky looks like Todd Standing in makeup. My opinion. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments down below. Now I want to thank everybody for tuning in for Cryptic Corner tonight. Appreciate your patronage, and we will see you tomorrow morning for Live from the Hive. So stay tuned for that. And take care and be kind. Now, for my Live from the Hive audience, thank you also for joining me for Cryptic Corner this morning. And we will be moving into CreationWatch here in just a moment. But before we do, I did want to give a little sneak peek of what's coming next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Joint Forces, I am here today to inform you that a number of unidentified flying objects have appeared over many parts of our country. Though their exact origin remains to be fully determined, the FBI has informed me that it is very likely that these are visitors of extraterrestrial nature. I advise the American people to remain calm, not fall into panic, and wait for further announcements. We shall overcome this threat with confidence and vigilance. May God protect our souls.
Evolutionary arms race. So that's where you get run into a lot of problems with people misunderstanding evolution, because they're like, oh, this animal hasn't changed for millions of years. It's because it's been and that's never true, by the way, but that's because it's been accustomed to that ecological niche for all that time, and it doesn't mean it hasn't been challenged for that. It just means it came out on top every time. Sharks are a good example. They're well adapted for their environment. They aren't going anywhere, well, until now, so we started killing them and eating them, but or just killing them for fun. When there's an extinction event, that's when we get what we call, it's a punctuated equilibrium. Otherwise, you experience gradualism, but when the extinction event happens, whether it's disease-driven or natural disaster, whatever, all the life forms die out. It creates basically a niche vacuum where new forms of life get to try their hands at things that their ancestors weren't able to do before because of the competition. Animals move into these more specialized niches, though. Makes them more susceptible to extinction events, or obviously we're in the middle of the Anthropocene right now, where we're the extinction event, and the specialized animals are the first ones going, especially the large ones. That's one of the most specialized niches you can be in, is a large browser or a large grazer, especially large browsers, though, because they tend to be more of a K strategist in their reproductive methodology. Speaking of, would you guys like me to talk about R strategy and K strategy? I might be able to get some friends together and maybe do a little talk about that. Hello, and welcome to CreationWatch, where we explore other ideas of how this world came into being and why they're probably wrong. So, thank you for joining us tonight. And, of course, to my Live from the Hive audience, thank you for sticking with me as we move into the next segment of the show. If you want to catch these segments live, we do this live from the Hive every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And you can always catch them on Wednesday night for CreationWatch. That's right up there, CreationWatch. And then on Friday nights, we have our big CryptoCorner premiere. So please feel free to join either if you're interested in the topics that we cover here. Today on CreationWatch, we are not necessarily, I shouldn't say we're steering away from young Earth creationism, because I believe that that flat earthers are, for the most part, young Earth creationists as well, and biblical literalist to boot. So that is what we're going to be looking at today. Now, I haven't covered flat Earth in a long time on this segment. I don't think I've covered flat Earth since I first stopped focusing only on the CONSERVAPEDIA articles. I don't think that I did, but we're going to cover them today. We're going to pick up right where we left off, and this channel is called Celebrate Truth. So let's see what kind of truth is coming out of Celebrate Truth today on CreationWatch. All right, here we are. This is their video platform where they have ads all the way around the frame. I don't know. Do you guys like this format where they have all the different I think got subscriber information down here and all this Patreon. Ooh, I recognize that image from my old CreationWatch intro. Yeah. Anyway, let's dive in and hear what they have to say. I didn't pick a random spot. I did pick a spot where there's some subject matter covered that Godspeed, that's what we're here for. I am a masochist for bad science. I will seek it out and make myself watch it. So we're here for the long haul, kids. Let's do it.
We will restore science to its rightful place and wield technology's wonders.
Ignorant just simply means you don't know. But if you don't know and you have the power of influence over others, that's dangerous. If you don't know and you don't know that you don't know, that's particularly dangerous.
I think we're talking mostly about the headlines here. So let me back it up. I'm not going to try to back this up. If you look down here, this video is almost 9 hours long. So I mean, we could go endlessly. I have already picked out the place where I'm going to start and stop on this, just to give you an idea of what kind of content these channels are putting out. This will just be there's a lot of little headline clips and stuff here. Only science can save us from the climate catastrophe. With increasing population, so we're talking about climate change. Okay, I'm with you so far. Science is the answer for climate change.
There is no debate. Climate change is a fact.
Now, as for getting your morals from
Correct.
the Bible, I very sincerely hope nobody does.
Right now,
That's a viable position to take, that no one would want to take their morals from the Bible. You're talking about stoning to death, or not stoning to death, but stoning unruly children, and the punishments for a lot of the crimes in the Bible are pretty cringy. The marriage in the Bible is absolutely disgusting. So I hope you aren't morally, especially the marriage stuff and how women are property and things like that. I hope you aren't living your life by that. That's gross.
Can fly in.
Oh shoot! I need to go get a drink because Bugbot's telling me to hydrate. I only have my coffee here, so I'm gonna go grab a bottle of water. Enjoy for just a moment.
Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go, and this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system.
That Jesus is the Son of God who is redeeming humanity from original sin. The idea that we are born in sin, and the only way we can be redeemed from sin is through the death of Jesus. I mean, that's a horrible idea. Megalomaniacal, sadomasochistic, capriciously malevolent bully.
How is that wrong? It is a horrible idea. So you convince people. Somebody was saying, who was it? Shannon Q was saying on a video I watched, I think it was last night, that Christianity kind of commodifies love, right? It tells you that you're unworthy of love from the start, but it can sell love back to you for your participation in their religious movement. Okay, so selling love back to you is, can we say it's problematic? And then before that, we had the thing about the low Earth orbit, but that's been thoroughly debunked. But let's go on.
So that's what you think of God?
Yeah.
How about the recent push to implement intelligent design in school curricula?
It's very bad. It's very.
Bill Nye, by the way, is just the epitome of evil to these people. It's funny.
Dangerous. You don't mess with the church.
Absolutely narcissists. Narcissists do commodify love. Who's asking for Bjorn? Sorry, you missed the Squatch. We just finished the Squatch. You can go back about an hour if you want to catch the Squatch stuff. We covered it pretty thoroughly. We're on to CreationWatch, looking at some flat Earth from the creator of The Global Lie. So their content is advertisements for other content, that's advertisement for other contents, that's advertisement for other content.
You can see an agenda.
Now, one
Scientism.
thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go.
Closed system as far as viability to support human life, maybe. I think that was Bill Nye talking. I'd have to know the context to that, because as far as energy conservation goes, like the second law of thermodynamics, the Earth's not a closed system because we do get energy from the sun, which is outside of our system. I don't know what the context that he was talking about, though. Sounded like I was talking about a system of survival, a system that we could survive in. Let me see what we got going on out here. Gotta love how he asserts science is anti-Christian without actually saying it. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of this. Yeah, let's get past this. Sorry, it's so long that it's hard to... Oh, well, it's over anyway. He got to add, and you can use that to subscribe to my channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe below. We're really close to 1K. I really want to get there. Come on, guys. Make it happen. Make me a happy girl. It's funny, they got a globe right there. And then, boom, turns into the flat Earth. We're going to get some Bible verses, though. This is the best part. Richard, are you still with us? Because there's some Bible verses that you might like to address. Do you really believe you live on a ball spinning over 1,000 miles per hour? That's the thing, too. It's the speed of rotation based around the size of the object spinning, right? How it's going to feel. But we have evolved on this spinning ball, so we're evolved. Our inner ear is evolved to not detect the rotation of the Earth or the orbit of the Earth or any of that. Your inner ear can't detect that because your inner ear is honed to the center of the Earth. So you don't feel the rotation, you don't feel the spin or any of that. Now, other mammals have a more developed inner ear, where like sea lions, for instance, don't have they can actually spin and twist all around. Every direction can be down to them. It's really cool how their inner ear is compounded, I guess, how it has developed. But they can flip and spin and adjust their perception of gravity. It's really cool, but we can't. We're tree monk. We evolved from arboreal ancestors. It's very important to us to be very, very aware of down, because we need that, or we needed that in our evolutionary past in order to know which direction was going to hurt the most. I wouldn't believe you. I would think that you were being misled by some pseudoscience. That's what I would think, because I understand the science that, again, like I just explained about why you don't feel the rotation of the Earth. It's because you're a tree monkey. A tree monkey needs to feel the pull of gravity downward, and yeah, that's the only thing that we need, really. Whereas like a aquatic organisms that lives in a 3D environment doesn't have those restrictions. Pretty simple stuff. That's why you don't feel the rotation of the Earth. Now, do birds feel the rotation of the Earth? I think that there's some evidence that at least a few species do. So it's not being able to, or not being able to is not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. Sorry, I was reading some comments here. I always say stand in one spot and spin once a day and tell me how fast it is. Yeah, right? How do you determine that? Yeah, anyway. Yep, I sure did. I searched for the truth. I looked at the what the physicist and cosmologist and all the astronomical research and all that. I've stuck my nose in it. Celebrate Truth presents.
We have been told that approximately 13.8 billion years ago, the universe was in a very high state of density, then suddenly expanded in a giant explosion.
Wrong. No, there was no explosion. That's well, it depends on what you mean by explosion. On the time scale of the universe, it would have been an explosion, but humans wouldn't even, like, if we had been around back then, we wouldn't even have noticed it was happening. It wouldn't have been, it would have been, to us it would have appeared like a slow expansion. You could watch a slow motion of a bomb going off, right? And if you put that at like 0.0000000, like I don't know, 0 to the 10th power or something, 9. That would be how fast this explosion, not just boom, it's an explosion. It's an expansion of it. And it's not necessarily even, there's no claim that this is the beginning of the universe either. This is the farthest back that we can look at the universe. And it goes back, the singularity, to be frank, is not even really a portion of the Big Bang model. The Big Bang model just says it's expanding, right? It just says it's expanding. The singularity is the mathematical probability when everything goes back, or not probability. What's the word I'm looking for? The mathematical conclusion of where our math breaks down, moving everything back to the center point. That's the singularity. But that doesn't indicate that was the beginning of anything. Just that's, or I shouldn't say that's the beginning of anything. It's the beginning of this expansion, but nothing more. That what was temporally before that, potentially. What's up, Jason? Singularity. Does everybody know what the singularity is? It literally is just a point where the mathematics break down on tracing back the origin of the current state of the expanding universe. But whether there was a state before that, our models can't tell. And how long, whether there was a temporal state before that, we can't tell. So generally with the B theory of time, you want to attach, I talked with Ryan and Granny about this a couple weeks back. How many weeks? It's been a few weeks ago, hasn't it, Ryan? Anyway, that time is tethered to the expansion of the universe. So time is an emergent property of the expansion. Then the idea of before that would be nonsensical. But let's...
Referred to as the Big Bang. After everything cooled, subatomic particles formed, which led to the creation of simple atoms. Large clouds of these primordial elements eventually coalesced through gravity to form galaxies and stars. Space!
I don't know. So far, that's basically it.
Solar system! Skip ahead a little.
Aww.
We're told that life first
was getting
appeared
into
in the
that.
sea 4 billion years ago in the form of a single-celled organism.
That's one bio-hypothesis. There are a few. The new kid on the block, I guess, the new, I shouldn't say it's new, but the hypothesis that's gaining some footing for origin of life requires this wet-dry cycle. So it may not have been in the sea. It may have been in like tide pools or natural springs, where things can ebb and flow, where it dries out. It's just a new leading theory on that. It's not to discourage the hydrothermal vent origin hypothesis at all, and that doesn't in any way deviate from the reality that the most basal deviations of organismal life are found in the area of thermal vents. So our furthest relatives on the tree of life are the ones that live at the hydrothermal vents. So at some point there was an ancestor that we shared in common with them that had those types of features. I knew this video was going to be great. It's let me just go on tangents about all kinds of science. Frickin' I love flat earthers. They let me talk about all kinds of crazy stuff that I wouldn't get to bring up otherwise.
Which later grew into multicellular organisms. After these began multiplying, a great mass extinction event 440 million years ago randomly killed off nearly every living thing on the planet. After more stuff started.
So I think that was the what extinction event were we talking about there? Which one? Was that the Silurian? Or anyway, yeah, it was at the end of the Cambrian. Okay. I think that was the end of the Cambrian.
To grow plants and insects. Another.
And then we have
mass extinction event. Dinosaurs.
Great Dying.
Mass extinction event.
PKG.
Birds, fish, reptiles. Mass extinction event.
When?
And another mass extinction event.
When? Wait, what are these other mass extinction events you're talking about? There's been a mass extinction event that killed off birds and reptiles. Or amphibians. Amphibians have been around a long time. They survived most, like us. They survived most of anything that's alive today survived all these extinction events. What is she even talking about? Goodness.
We are told that never in all that time were there ever any more advanced civilizations on the planet than these animals. Then, 100,000 years ago, Homo sapiens showed up.
200,000 years ago? Let's say 200,000 years ago. Probably more like 230, I think. Erica? Is Pete out there? Paleologos? Is it... Anyway.
The pyramids that were built were just tombs?
We don't have the technology to build the pyramids now.
Ancient people had the technology to build the pyramids. Do you think it's a coincidence that all the ancient civilizations all figured out that this geometric shape of piling rocks in a triangle was the least likely to fall down? So it would stand for a long... And yeah, that's another factor of it that... Yeah, there were probably other ancient structures too, but the pyramids are the ones that survive because triangle stacks of stones tend to stick around pretty well indefinitely until something comes along to take them out. Yeah, they tend to just hang around forever and ever. That's why we have them, no matter what civilization it was. If they didn't leave any other structures behind, they at least left some pyramids for us to look at. There's pyramids in, they're showing the Egyptian pyramids here, right? There's pyramids in, was it Cambodia? Or Thailand. There are pyramids in North America. There are pyramids in South America. There are pyramids. I think in Europe, there's pyramids in every continent I can think of except for Africa. Even Europe has some pyramids. Their pyramids are later, though. It's kind of, well, it's not necessarily peculiar because Europeans did come later to there, but their pyramids are a lot later, like in Common Era later, within the last 800 years or so is when the European where the European pyramids are dated. Those are ones from Northern Europe, if you don't know what I'm talking about. They're not fantastic. They're not as well, I shouldn't say they're not fantastic. They're great. They're a marvel of engineering, sure, that it's still around today, but they're like cobblestone pyramids that they have earth terraces built into them and things. Well, some of the other pyramids did too, though. A lot of the Mesoamerican pyramids had earth built into them. The ones in North America, the pyramids in North America are actually like 85% earth. Same cultures that built the mounds built those pyramids. They're kind of boxier, like that, kind of terraced up to the point. But yeah, this is just the best way to stack things to make sure they stay stacked for a long, long time.
Not even close.
And electricity didn't exist in an industrial or residential capacity until the late 19th century.
The arc lamp used in the Lighthouse of Alexandria is further proof that electricity was used in ancient Egypt.
Guys, do we need to talk about the Lighthouse of Alexandria and the electricity?
We're not the most evolved we've ever been.
On Isaac Newton's laws of motion.
What does that even mean, the most evolved we've ever been? Do you guys know what that even means? Well, how can you be most evolved? We're all evolved the same. We've all evolved from this common ancestor at the same time. Maybe not the same rate because, reproductive cycles change throughout evolution. Some species slow down how fast they reproduce. Some speed up. Some have more offspring, some have less offspring, and that dynamic changes as they pass on their genes. Sometimes an ancestor may have had multiple offspring, now the descendants have only one. Those things change. So what does most evolved mean? I don't understand.
Was revered for more than 200 years.
We have put our faith in astronomers, archaeologists, and...
Was that a slam on Newtonian versus Einsteinian physics and that stuff? Because they're both valid still. Newtonian physics works for the most part in any practical format. The fun thing about Einsteinian physics is it just kind of expands on our understanding at a different scale than, so like if you think about it, Newtonian physics works on a human scale. Einsteinian physics works on a universal scale. That's how I always think about it.
Theoretical geologists to reconstruct our history, even though, as Dr. Donald Scott points out in his book, The Electric Sky, there are no tangible, usable products from which we can judge the validity of these theories emanating from sciences that deal with events that happened long.
I do need to revisit the electric universe too, like Project Thunderbolt and stuff like that. I was getting ready to a few months back, and then Professor Dave, who was amazing. I love Professor Dave, like one of my favorite YouTube channels, so subscribe to that. But he did a series on Project Thunderbolt, so I backed off of it. I wasn't gonna make it out like I was emulating him or trying to copy his content or anything. But I actually had a friend who was an Electric Universe guy. He used to participate a bit in our community too, but now he went back to Facebook where I met him. He's actually part of the Hive out in Facebook. His name's Nathan. If you see him out there, he's an Electric Universe guy. Maybe I'll have him on sometime and talk to him about it. That's a interesting subject. You guys let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that.
Long ago and far, far away.
We're able to create a two-headed dog with 6 legs.
Professional astronomers judge success by the degree to which other astronomers believe and accept their ideas. They do not produce results which can be physically evaluated.
What? That's not how that works. The Thunderbolt Project. Thank you, Richard Madsen. What is Project Thunderbolt? Yeah, but I am interested, and I do think it's a fun theory, especially how they think that craters were created by lightning hit from the sun hitting the moon. A lot of weird stuff like that. The idea is that the sun's more like less like a plasma. Well, I shouldn't say less like a plasma ball, but that it's more like a giant electron. It's weird. Of course, they uncritically show the ancient alien guy. Yeah, he's just a viable resource, a fountain of accurate information. I can't wrap my head around the electric universe concept. Maybe it's all this stupid. Yeah, if I do decide to have him on, I might have you on as my co-host, Maya. Either you or Mark. If you'd be interested, of course, to talk to him. I need somebody to... what I want to do is actually be like more like the moderator on the conversation and let somebody else engage with him. But I might try to engage with him myself first. I don't know. We'll see.
Archaeologists dig holes and look at bones and shards and write papers and tell impressive stories about mankind's history. Theoretical geologists tell stories about how continents have shifted and when mountains formed. Both are successful if other archaeologists and geologists accept their hypotheses, and their theories are published in respected scientific...
They're talking about geology. They talk about all this. It's like, oh, we're just confirming. We like it when you confirm what other people say, or what if people affirm your ideas. That's not what it is. People want to dispute your idea, because if they dispute your idea, they get to replace it with their idea. So everything has an idea of how it works, and based on the math and observations and things like that, based on predictability of the model, whatever the system may be, right? And at whatever point someone has said this is the reason and published a paper on it, everybody else who picks up that paper and looks at the research and does the peer review and does the research, looks at the math, checks the predictions, everybody else is looking to prove that person wrong. Because then they get to make their paper suddenly becomes the top author on the charts, and that other person becomes a citation, right? The citation below. So everybody wants to be on the top, the top of that, right? So the competition between people in these fields is actually real. There is actually an idea that you need to be doing. You need to be reviewing other people's work, and you need to be a productive member of the scientific community. You need to be overturning some of the stuff that's already that we think right now. You need to be coming up with new understanding of the way that the world works. To be a productive scientist, you need to be discrediting your peers' work, not giving them an attaboy. Obviously, that's on the professional field. Personal opinions and about other authors' works and things that don't necessarily have to reflect the professional position. You can say, yeah, I think that Richard Dawkins, who they keep showing in this video, is right about these evolutionary points, but I think he's wrong about this and this and that. You can say that. You can sign off on his work. You and Mark should do a show with or without him. I want to see Mark's head explode. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Electric universe.
Journals like Discover and Scientific American. None of these fields produce any results that can be tested experimentally by the general public.
I usually think, when I think of journals, I think like Nature or PNAS and things like that. I don't think of Scientific America. Is Scientific America a pop magazine? Scientific America. Scientific America is a news magazine. It's not a peer-reviewed journal. I mean, scientists, famous scientists have put articles and contributed to Scientific America. It is a publication of articles from scientists, if that's what you mean. But it's not a peer-reviewed journal, and it's not how we don't assess truth from that. Basically, pop sci magazines, and Scientific American is one of the best pop science magazines out there, just because it has so many leaders in their field that actually contribute to it. It's been around for almost 200 years, but it's not. It's more of a secondary part of academia to the peer review process, because things like Scientific America you get to put your paper out there for other people to peer review. The more people who peer review your paper and agree with you and can't find anything wrong with it and sign off on it, the better your paper is. The more power that paper contains to sway other areas of research, right? The more compelling it is. So, yeah, I like National Geographic too, but Scientific America is good. Some of the stuff National Geographic has done in the past I don't approve of. I don't like how they did the stupid micro-raptor thing. They are often cited, National Geographic more than anybody else is cited by young Earth creationists as as what is allegedly our source of truth, and that's just not the case.
Fast forward, and now there are 7 billion of us. And we're told by the same scientists who told us the rest of the story that the 6th mass extinction event is already underway.
But we're half.
Was that the snow, the black snow? Is that what that was? Do you guys remember that? It was 2019 or 2018, 2019 or 2018. These people were using gas lighters and burning snow, and then then claiming that something was wrong with it because of the black on the snow, when not understanding that the black was literally the fumes from the gas burning in the lighter. It was the carbon left over. There was all kinds of videos on YouTube. Back then it was longer ago than that. Was it 2015 or something like that, Jason? It's been a while ago, but it was like a social media phenomenon where a whole bunch of people were making videos of themselves going out and getting a bowl of snow and burning it with a gas lighter and being like, "Oh, look, it's turning black." You know.
Human and half extraterrestrial. We're hybrids.
We're meant to live in the box they built, never taking the lid off. We are born, we consume, reproduce, and die in there.
By box, she means the Earth that we the only place that we can survive. The only place in the universe that we discovered yet where our species can survive. It's not a box that they're keeping us in. It's just what we're all contained in because we are species on this planet.
No higher purpose or significance.
Nope. No higher purpose or significance except for, I'm going to make everybody hate me here, except for to sustain Gaia. That's all we're here for. If we can keep the organism alive and keep it going, we have succeeded. If the organism dies, we have failed. We are the only species on this planet so far that has the chance of causing Gaia to die, which is really gross. And I hope we don't do it, but we'll see. And again, Gaia is the name of a superorganism, not some supernatural being. I just say it to annoy people. I like that I don't have a prescribed higher purpose. I don't think that my existence is prescriptive. I like to make my own way. I know that as a physicalist, I do believe in cause and effect physics, so I do think that, that whatever happens in my life is, set in motion, but I don't know that. I don't live my life as if that. I live my life as if I'm making decisions as I move along. And I'm able to decide what the meaning and purpose of my existence is on my own and try to make the most of it. Sometimes I struggle to see meaning and purpose in my life. I do. I have moments of nihilistic dread. Because I'm a human. Anybody who says that they don't worry about what happens, or that there hasn't been moments in their life where they look at their place in the vastness of the universe, in the insignificance of our pitiful lifespans, and experience a moment of nihilistic dread. Mine is usually followed up with wonder, though, at how this all orchestrates out. I'd love to, and that's what keeps me going sometimes, is just riding out to see how long my chapter is, what happens in my chapter of this story of life on Earth, and what impact I can have on making it better or worse. I think that's sometimes the only thing that keeps me going.
Now, what about the Big Bang theory? I find the Big Bang really quite fascinating. I mean, here you have all these highfalutin scientists, and they're
highfalutin
saying that there was this gigantic explosion and everything came.
No, I already explained. No gigantic explosion. No, not unless you consider something that's taken place over billions, something that's still, because we're still in the explosion, right? It's still expanding. So we're still in the Big Bang for all causes and purposes. It never stopped. The universe is still expanding. So let's start there. Okay. Expanding universe. Great. We understand a bit about that now. We've got different fields of research that cover these topics, and we understand how this happens. So an explosion, in the sense of an explosion that happens over what is it, 13.8 billion years.
Into perfect order. Now, these are the same scientists who go around touting the second law of thermodynamics, which is entropy, which says that things move toward a state of disorganization. So,
sort of entropy. It means entropy means the closest layman's terms I could come up with for it is like stagnation. All right, it's where there's no activity. When it comes to energy, entropy is reached at absolute zero. That's K, right? 0K. So that's entropy right there. And as heat dissipates from any system, it moves towards that point, towards that absolute zero. Now, within a closed system, there can be a closed system will move to entropy. So let's consider the universe itself a closed system. Okay, so the universe overall moving towards entropy, moving towards absolute zero. Entropy is just thermal balance. Thank you, Brian Stevens. Brian Stevens is brilliant, and and you should listen to what he says as well. As well as me. Listen to Brian Stevens and me, and we'll be your sources of truth. That's a big order. Don't listen to me on most things, but you can listen to me on this, because I this is what my physics nerds friends and everything tell me. Do you want to see the Australopithecus? Or not Australopithecus, I guess that's Ardipithecus. Do you all want to see the Ardipithecus video again after this? We can put that on in between. I did an updated version of it with some timelines and stuff. I just want to make it more mine, because it was just my editing of the clips together and then the song. But yeah, always check me. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm wrong about. I've been wrong about some stuff on this video already, I'm sure. So, and I welcome the critiques. If I'm wrong about anything, please come at me in the side chat. I will correct, I will redact, I will do what I need to do to adjust my point of view. Yeah.
Now you're going to have this big explosion and everything becomes perfectly organized.
We got old Ben Carson talking. Is that Ben Carson? That is Ben Carson, right? Like the guy who ran for president.
And when you ask them about it, they say, well, we can explain this based on probability theory.
So again, I almost forgot where I was going. Okay, so the whole universe can be moving towards entropy, but there can be systems, open systems within this larger closed system that are experiencing negentropy, like our solar system, where there's a source of power that is adding energy to the planetary system within its orbit. Right, the sun itself, as part of the greater entropy of the universe, does have a finite amount of energy that it's going to dissipate over billions of years. However, the planets orbiting that star, they are receiving additional energy, so they are not in a state of entropy. Earth and all the other planets in our solar system are not in a state of entropy. They're at some level of negentropy, if they have an atmosphere. I want to specify that too, because if they don't have an atmosphere, it may depend on where they're at in their orbit, whether they're experiencing entropy and negentropy, because certain heavenly bodies without atmosphere, they bleed the energy that they gain faster than they can retain it. So the numbers always jumping all over the place on how much energy they're retaining, depending on where they are. But we have an atmosphere, so we have a little bubble around us that captures the energy from our star, from the sun. And with that in mind, and also very obvious, it's something we can see. We can see how this works, how the greenhouse effect works with catching energy, right? So we know that that's a thing that's happening. So no, the Earth is not experiencing entropy at all. That's why things are able to propagate here. That is why life was able to pop up here. Hey, Sam Jenkins.
Because if there's enough big explosions over a long enough period of time, over billions and billions of years, one of them will be the perfect explosion.
Well, that's just with a model of a cyclic universe, of cyclic universes. You could say that was the model. I don't know if that's the leading model right now, but it's just a matter of our universe having aspects of it, like the sun, that are burning with energy, that are expanding, or that are dissipating energy into a planetary system. Within the planetary system, there's planets with atmosphere. That atmosphere captures the energy into that planet's atmosphere. Therefore, the planet is experiencing negentropy, not entropy. Hopefully I hope that's simple enough to understand. You'll hear a lot of this entropy argument, but this second law of thermodynamics argument, but second law of thermodynamics definitely explains that we should be experiencing negentropy on Earth, not entropy.
And I say, so what you're telling me is if I blow a hurricane through a junkyard enough times, over billions and billions of years, eventually after one of those hurricanes, there'll be a 747 fully loaded and ready to fly.
So sort of, we're talking about what he's talking about. One thing he's talking about biology here, in which case we're talking about like niche vacuums. So the tornado is the extinction event, right? The tornado comes through and wipes everything out. And then life starts to come back. So it's the space between the tornadoes that creates the new life. And at some point, one of those tornadoes came through and wiped out some giant archosaurs, right? And this allowed these little scampering, warm-blooded mammals to have a chance to move. So, but after that tornado came through this little junkyard, these little tiny primates were able to start propagating and expanding and their ranges and moving into new niches and becoming more successful. Eventually, these little monkey guys even started to create their own technology, and that escalated so fast, happened so fast, and eventually they started taking aspects of other organisms on the earth and trying to emulate them, like flight. So humans started trying to figure out how to fly. So then they built machines that could fly, and eventually they invented this 747 or whatever that he's talking about here. So this tornado, which the last big tornado, I guess, would be the KPG extinction event, did come through our junkyard. The myriad of life on Earth, it did blast right through that junkyard, wipe everything out, wipe out what was it, like 65% or something like that of life on Earth with the PKG. Where the iridium layer is, right, where we can see on one side and on the other. So that iridium layer represents when the tornado came through. So the tornado came through the junkyard, and then as the organisms started to recover from that, and our little monkey hands started to want to build technology to fly, boom, the tornado in the junkyard did come through, and boom, we have 747s now. So yes, Ben Carson is right here. That is what happened, as long as we understand the metaphor, right? In the metaphor, the tornado is the extinction event, Earth is the junkyard, and the 747 is the result of the tornado coming through, wiping out the organisms that couldn't build 747s, and then letting the organisms that could propagate. I hope that all makes sense. Because we are about out of time for Creation Watch today. Let's see what else he's got.
Well, but I mean, it's even more ridiculous than that, because our solar system, not to mention the universe outside of that, is extraordinarily well organized to the point where we can predict 70 years away when a comet is coming. Now,
So that's just physics of the universe, right? Everything in the universe follows physics, the laws of physics, and one of the aspects that's really powerful in it is gravity. So that's how we're able to tell how heavenly bodies are going to react to the other objects in the solar system that we're in. We know how comets are going to rotate. We know how planets are going to rotate, because they're reacting to the gravity of the planets within the system and the sun within the system, and potentially other objects outside of the system that could be acting on them as well, such as Kepler belt items or objects or things like that. So I keep saying items and I mean to say objects. I don't know why. Yeah, but what Mr. Madsen said here, it's not organized. Physics is just very predictable. Thank you for putting it in few words, such few and poignant words while I rant and ramble. All right.
Type of organization to just come out of an explosion? I mean, you want to talk about fairy tales. That is amazing. And really what it boils down to is, where do you want to put your faith? In man or in God? Which one makes more sense?
So, and these ideas aren't mutually exclusive. There's no reason why you can't posit a God of an Earth that is subject to the Big Bang and the laws of physics and evolution and everything like that. There's nothing in any of these theories that say that there can't be a deistic entity, right? You can't falsify that there's a deistic God or whatever that set things in motion. It's just not. It's an unfalsifiable position. But they're not mutually exclusive, like Ben's saying here.
And I constantly say, I'm a person of limited faith. I really don't have enough faith to believe that stuff that they say. I mean, that is really beyond belief in terms of the number of coincidences that have to occur and a number of things.
The name of this stream, by the way, if you haven't caught on to it, was Science Guys Are Lying to You. I guess that includes me, though. Sweet.
Violate even their own principles in order for it to work.
And what is the harm in learning the Bible's creation story?
Well, learning the story is fine. I mean, that's great, but it's not science.
Yeah, it's not. Nobody's saying you can't learn the stories from the Bible. I don't think that that's ever been an argument that somebody's presented, or that you can't learn the stories from the Bible and believe them as an individual, right? That you can't say, you know what, despite all of this, I believe in the Genesis account. No one's saying you can't be there and do that, but what they're saying is it does not belong in the classroom because it doesn't match up with our current scientific models and should not be included. That's not asking too much. Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm wrong. These are based points. I'm just going to let this keep going.
That's child abuse.
It sounds very laudable to teach the controversy, to teach both theories, but there aren't two theories. There's only one theory around. There's only one game in town as far as serious science is concerned. Of course, you get negative reactions from creationists, but who cares about creationists? They don't know anything.
I like those. I might just clip that out and just have that as little shorts.
Let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And
Got
God
some
called
creation.
the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above.
Okay, hold on. I got a question here. Question on that. If someone were to teach evolution and creation inequality without bias and let students make their own minds, is that a step too far in your view? As long as they're presenting scientific evidence for their position, yeah, that is supported by the models in science, because it's a science class, that's fine. But when those ideas deviate, like this idea here with we got a firmament and things like that over the earth, those don't comport with reality. So no, we shouldn't be able to teach about firmament in school, because that's not something that scientifically exists. We shouldn't be able to teach about ether either, because for a long time ether was scientific. There was an ether out there that the earth was drifting through. It was substantive, but it doesn't exist. It doesn't. There's no drag. If there was an ether out there, there'd be drag. So firmament, ether, that kind of stuff, we shouldn't teach in school. No.
And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so.
And there's our flat earth.
God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven.
So earth first, and then seas, or earth and seas, I guess, together. Yeah, his video, this part here is stupid echoey. He's got like a reverb thing on it to make it sound woo.
To divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, a greater light to rule the day, and a lesser light to rule the night.
And the moon is not a light, it just reflects the light of the sun. So, no, it's more, you could call it a mirror. I wouldn't call it a light.
He made the stars also.
And he made the stars also, even though they're just suns, some much, much more prominent and impactful to the ballet that is the spiral of our universe.
And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night.
See, the firmament, set them in the firmament. That's the problem right there, Sam. That's what I was talking about. We can't be teaching kids that there's a firmament when there's not a firmament. Unless you can demonstrate a firmament, show me some scientific evidence of it.
And to divide the light from the darkness.
Because it's something that both the sun and the moon are supposed to exist in. So what is the firmament?
And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
Earth is a flat plane because it's super special. Jason Jacoby with Das Dome.
And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens, in the firmament of the heavens.
Let's do that again. That was pretty cool.
The darkness he called night. The firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night.
Come on,
and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
And it was so.
And God made two great lights.
Yeah, there's the sun and the
a
moon.
greater light to rule the day, and fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith...
All right, I could keep going on this forever. Like I said, this video is almost 9 hours long, so I just cut out this little piece here just to show you guys. The channel is Celebrate Truth. This video is Science Guys Are Lying to You. This is a Flat Earth channel. I love when they give the disclaimer here and right under the video. It's always hilarious. But that was that was our Creation Watch today. It's been a minute since we visited the Flat Earth phenomena, so a little pinch of that for you today. And I appreciate everybody coming here tonight to watch this with me. And please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time. All right. And for those of you watching this live from the Hive with me Saturday here, thank you for sticking around through CryptoCorner, through CreationWatch. We are going to move now into a little HiveScience segment where we got some strange science coming up. But first, I'm going to have a second little intermission for you, and we'll see how this goes. This is version 2.0. All right. Welcome to HiveScience, everybody. I am Bree, and I am presenting to you some fun, strange science today, or tonight. I am glad you're joining us. This is also recorded live from the Hive, so please also say hi to my live audience. Some of you might be in both audiences, in which case I love you so much. You're my favorite people in the whole world. Thank you for watching my stuff twice. But as promised in Strange Science today, we're going to be talking about weaponized genitalia. What is weaponized genitalia? I found myself explaining this in a panel with Neil? Yeah, a panel with Neil and Mark Reed, and who else was in there? We had lots of good people. It was on one of Neil's after parties, the after party for Mark Reed's show, or his story. He didn't really have a deconversion story, but much like me, he had some woo-woo beliefs that he has since broken free of. But I got to talking about what a stinger is on a wasp or ant or bee, because there was some confusion in a conversation I was having with some TERFs of all people, or I don't know if they were TERFs or gender critical people, about, because they were accusing me of saying bees had a third gender and all that crap. I ranted about it, and it was on my Hoven video just a couple of days ago that premiered. So I already covered that. If you wanted to see what I said, what I have to say about that, it's in the Hoven video that premiered last Wednesday for CreationWatch. However, the notion that there are just that the stinger of a bee is some kind of separate or part of its body. It's literally modified by or separate. Yeah, not part. It's literally a modified reproductive system, is what you have there, and it dates back to the earliest. Wasps were pretty much all parasites. Even bees and ants are all descendant from parasitic ancestors that laid their eggs on other organisms. They laid their eggs on other organisms, and the baby hatched out and ate the organism, and that's how they grew. All of them. Yeah, I'm always fighting with TERFs. It's problematic. Kind of makes my life suck a little bit. Not gonna lie. You are sucky people, TERFs. I'm a woman and I can be a woman and you can't stop me. Anyway, so the stinger and the venom and everything that all these Hymenopterans have is it's all tracks its descent back to the same venom that was used to paralyze the insects that they were laying their eggs on, right? So the stinger is an ovipositor, so they were literally stinging and laying their eggs at the same time. So the sting was to paralyze the usually like a caterpillar or something along those lines, and something soft-bodied, and to attach an egg on there. So they sting, and then they pull out, and the egg is rooted in there. There's like little white beads of grains of rice or something hanging off of the caterpillar or other organism, and they're stuffed down inside of them. So, yeah, TERFs do suck. TERFs suck. Anyway, and that's how the stinger came about, right? That's how the stinger first evolved in its ancestry, and the proteins and the venoms and everything, that we can trace it all back to this origin. It's still used in many species of wasps today, but others now have evolved eusocial behavior, which means that they have these different caste roles. So now they could have members of their society with their reproductive systems completely dedicated to being a stinger instead, and injecting that same venomous juice that used to be used to paralyze unsuspecting insects was now being utilized as a full-on chemical defense system, and the females of the species, all but only one needed to lay eggs, and all the other ones, which are clones of her, but with their reproductive systems completely useless and atrophied and repurposed for this stinging role. So yeah, pretty cool. But another less social, I guess, species of wasp, where they live in just a little small colony, and of which the males also are more of a vital role in the maintenance and defense of the colony. But how do they defend themselves? They don't have an ovipositor to evolve into a stinger. They don't have it. It's not part of their biology for obvious reasons. So what do? What do the male wasp do in order to defend themselves without a modified ovipositor? Let's see. Okay, how genital stingers give male wasps some sexual equality. This right here. Watch it. A study that involves giving frogs an unpleasant snack has shown that male wasps really can defend themselves with a jab from their genitalia. It does, poor frog. I don't think he signed up for this. It's like, ugh, what the hell, dude? Seriously, dude, did you just do that? Poor frog. Ouch, that looks painful. It sure does. The experiment was set up like this in the lab in Shinji, Sugawara, and lab Shinji? I don't want to say his name bad. I'm sorry if I say your name bad, Shinji. Shinji Sugawara, an ecologist at Kobe University in Japan. 17 tree frogs, known for being tough-skinned, insect-eating predators, were each left to hang out with a puny male mason wasp in a contained environment. Instead of having a tasty snack, the frogs were repeatedly stung in the mouth by the wasp, who evaded becoming meals, at least temporarily. It was in the process of observing these lunch dates that Dr. Sugawara and his colleagues confirmed a hunch. Male wasps use sharp stingers mounted on their genitalia to shed themselves of being eaten, similar to the protective mechanism used by females. We show that male genitalia function as an anti-predator defense. Anti-predatory genitalia, I'm in. I am totally down for that. We showed the male genitalia function as an anti-predator defense. Dr. Sugawara said in an email, it was, let me close this ad, that's annoying me. We showed that the male genitalia function as an anti-predatory defense. I was very excited to know that the male wasp was, as well as the females ones, are able to sting, because I had believed that male wasps never counterattack. When a predator dares to get too close to a female wasp, she can use her ovipositor, her egg-laying tube organ, to deliver a painful, venomous jab. Less is known to science about male wasp defense. Males lack a venomous ovipositor for stinging, so they evolved to look and act as menacing as the females as an attempt to fool predators to stay away. In some species, such as the common wasp and the velvet ant, males have developed a pseudosting, two spines on the tip of their abdomen or on the genitalia to look fierce. Whether they're actually effective for scaring off predators is questionable, though most scientists assume males to be innocuous. The results of the experiment conducted by Dr. Sugawara and his colleagues, published on Monday in the journal Current Biology, suggest that penis spikes might indeed come in handy. Penis spikes. Did you all know you were going to learn about penis spikes this afternoon? Although their lances don't deliver any venom, male wasp stinging is very similar to female stinging behavior, he said. In fact, when the scientists fed the frogs a group of wasps whose genitals had been removed, the frogs gobbled up every single one of them unperturbed. Unfortunately, I'm not used to reading that word, unperturbed. Unfortunately for the male wasp, the sharp counterattacks didn't work every time. Only little more than a third of the tree frogs ultimately gave up on eating the stinging insects that they had been assigned. The male wasps still weren't as efficient as the female wasp. About half of the female wasps, which were much bigger than the male wasp, were outright ignored by the frogs from the start, And of those who were attacked, a whopping 87.5% were successful in their stinging escapades. The new research confirms decades of anecdote from the field, according to Justin O. Schmidt, a scientist at the University of Arizona and author of The Sting of the Wild, who was not involved in the study. Any of us who go out in the field and catch insects have caught one of these things. We grabbed it and it curled around and tried to sting us, he said, but male use of their pseudo sting could simply be another act of mimicry of female behavior. Of course, he can't sting, but he's trying to fake you out, Dr. Schmidt said. So you look at that and say, oh, wow, this is a female, bad news. I think it's a form of startle as much as an absolute defense. Once I get to this segment, my reading's always so jumbled. I don't know why. Maybe what matters isn't that the male wasp can't actually sting, but that they've evolved these pseudo stings, said Akito Y. Kawahara, an insect curator at Florida's Museum of Natural History, who was not involved in the study. 7 million years back, probably, these things were not functional at all. And I think over many millions of years more, it will probably become more perfected, Dr. Kawahara said, adding, it's the sort of thing we're seeing evolution in action. And it's a completely different way of looking at the role of genitalia. An organ that is typically used for sex or mating, is co-opted to have all these other functions because the insect needs it, Dr. Kawahara said. He has shown that similarly, hawk moths use their genitalia to produce ultrasound that jams the sonars of predating bats. So hawk moths also use their genitalia as a shield. Could you imagine having your shields connected to your genitalia like a sonic shield? More research is needed to understand this morphine, but this experiment gives reason to believe it's widespread in wasp around the world. I think we're going to see more cases like this, Dr. Kawahara said, and it's just the beginning. So, pretty cool stuff there. That was our strange science for today. The topic being how genital stingers give male wasp some sexual equality. What'd you think about that? Let me know in the comments down below. I thank you for watching this video, and I appreciate everybody in the live from the Hive chat for sticking around. And we will see you, Wednesday for CreationWatch. So hang around for that later this week. And then, of course, Friday we have CryptoCorner. And then Saturday we'll be back live from the Hive. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. All right. Okay, and all those folks out there watching this live from the Hive, I really appreciate you hanging out. We have been through some classic Todd Standing tomfoolery, and we have explored the inner workings of the flat earther's mind as far as we can go. And lastly, we wrap the show up with some tactical assault genitals from the insect kingdom, with male wasp having assault spikes on their genitals to ward off predation. Thank you so much for sticking in here with me. See, I've had over 20 viewers pretty much this whole time. So 20 people have been wanting to sit here with me for listen to me ramble for 2.5 hours. So I love you so much. Please remember to be kind and take care, and we will see you next time.
Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt, for the locusts so that they may come into the land of Egypt and eat every plant in the land, all that the hail has left. So Moses stretched out his staff over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought up an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. When it was morning, the east wind had brought up the locusts. The locusts came up all over the land of Egypt and settled on the whole country of Egypt. Such a dense swarm of locusts as had never been seen before, nor ever will be seen again. They covered the face of the whole land, so that the land was darkened, and they ate all the plants in the land, and all the fruit of the trees that the hail had left. Not a green thing remained, neither tree nor plant of the field throughout the whole land of Egypt. Then Pharaoh hastily called upon Moses and Aaron and said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now, therefore, forgive my sin, please, only this once, and plead with the Lord your God only to remove this death from me. So he went out from Pharaoh and pleaded with the Lord, and the Lord turned the wind into a very strong west wind, which lifted the rocks and drove them into the Red Sea. Not a single locust was left in the country of Egypt. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not let the people of Israel go.
Let you keep you out here so everybody can get a good look at what to look for when you see a brown recluse. When you see a spider you think might be a brown recluse, you look for that little violin-shaped area on the front of the head. It may be darker or lighter, it may be the same color, but there's the shape there. Looks like this one.